The Dallas Mavericks somehow turned "we got the safest #1 pick in years" into "we locked him in a burning car and threw him the keys." That is Cooper Flagg's rookie year right now. Dead last in the West, losing to the Pelicans without Zion. And the kid is already saying it out loud. "For me, it's the most I've lost ever. It's not fun." You never want your 18-year-old franchise player sounding like a tired accountant in November. And the wild part is, it is not his talent. Cooper still makes grown defenders fall over like their controller disconnected. You can see why he went #1. The Rookie of the Year case should be easy. Instead, it is slipping away because Dallas built a time machine back to 1973. 5 straight home games to open the season, 1 real road game, and still losses at home to the Wizards and those Zion-less Pels. You can't even blame the schedule. This is self-sabotage. Quick reset on the plan. Jason Kidd decides, you know what? Let's make Cooper the point guard. Not just sometimes bring it up. Full, here kid, run the whole thing. The vision is that once Kyrie Irving gets back, Cooper can slide into a secondary creator role with fresh playmaking reps. In theory, that sounds clever on a whiteboard. In the Western Conference, that sounds like a meme. You experiment out there, and suddenly you are in 15th praying for the play-in. And while the coaching staff is treating this like a science fair, the roster is turning every game into a bricklaying contest. The Mavs are dead last in the league in made threes. Not bottom 5, dead last. Klay Thompson, the guy you signed for spacing and championship DNA, is averaging a career-low 8 points a night. It's his worst three-point shooting season ever. The man went from splash brother to light drizzle. Put it together, and Cooper Flagg is stuck running the worst offense in the NBA. Relative to league average, Dallas is sitting at minus 11.4 points per 100. That is not just bad. That is 3 points worse than the worst offense in Mavs history, the 1993 team that only won 11 games. Right now, the Win Now Mavericks are a little worse than the Please Make It Stop Mavericks from 1993. You know how ugly that looks in 2025? By league standards, the numbers say this is basically a 1970s offense. Slow, cramped, and allergic to threes. That's what happens when you hand the steering wheel to an 18-year-old who's never played point guard in his life. And the question hanging over everything is simple. How did they put him in a spot this bad? When Kyrie went down, everyone could see it. The Mavs needed a real point guard, a stopgap, someone to eat minutes and organize the game so Cooper could cook from the wing. The front office had a full offseason to prepare. Nico Harrison's answer? D'Angelo Russell. That was the big move. The same D'Lo who drifted through last year on the Nets while most of the league shrugged. There was a reason no one lined up for that reunion tour. And while this is happening in Dallas, everyone is watching Luka burn the league alive in purple and gold. Which brings us to the move that hangs over everything Nico has done, that Luka trade. People still ask the same question. How did the Mavs not get Austin Reeves in that deal? The trade was basically this. Out, Luka Dončić. In, Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a pick. That's it, for a top 2 offensive engine on the planet. The story behind it somehow makes it worse. Reporting says Rob Pelinka wanted to speak to Luka before the deal, just to see if he would stay long-term. Nico said no, he was scared the trade would leak. So the Lakers couldn't go all in. They kept their 2031 first, they kept Austin Reeves, and they still walked out with Luka. That's how a team with no leverage fleeced a desperate franchise, because one GM was obsessed with Anthony Davis. Nico really believed a 32-year-old, always hurt AD was a better bet than a 26-year-old Luka entering his prime. That's like the Bucks trading Giannis right before back-to-back MVPs because they really miss young Kevin Love. And now Mavs fans sit at home watching Luka do revenge fan fiction in real time. He's got that Michael Jordan take-everything-personal gene. We literally saw it before. Devin Booker talked trash. Luka decided to end the Suns. Game 7, in Phoenix. He beat them so badly that the new owner basically nuked the whole championship roster out of embarrassment. That was off one petty beef. So what do you think happens when he gets traded for a guy called Street Clothes and left sobbing in a tribute video? Reports say Luka broke his phone when the trade went through. People around the team say he cried. When he came back to Dallas and watched that tribute video, we saw a tear. Ever since, he's been ripping through the league with the Lakers, breathing down the MVP leader's neck, stacking 40-point nights, and doing it without LeBron on the floor every possession. And the Lakers didn't even have to give up Austin Reeves. Meanwhile, Nico's official reason for not wanting to commit to Luka long-term: conditioning, injury concerns. Then he traded for AD, the man whose nickname is literally street clothes. AD came into this season already hurt. You couldn't script it worse. A Hollywood writer would cut that scene and say, nah, too unrealistic. Quick glove touch with the algorithm before we keep cooking. If you rock with hoops therapy like this, tap that like, hit subscribe, toss us to a friend who still defends the trade, and tell the comments what you would have done with that #1 pick and that Luka decision. It tells the algorithm you're not tanking your own brain. Back to Cooper. The worst part is, fans can't even enjoy his good nights. Against New Orleans, he probably had his best game of the season. Aggressive, confident, making the right reads. On any normal young team, the fan base would be hyped. Great job, kid. Future looks bright. But this is Dallas. Future feels cooked. Your old superstar is dominating in Los Angeles. Your present looks like 1973 offense in 4K. So even when Cooper plays well, the mood is depressed. It's like throwing a perfect party in a haunted house. Nobody relaxes. And look at the development plan here. Some #1 picks get a gentle ramp. Veteran point guard next to them, extra shooters, real take your time energy. You mess up, nobody panics. Cooper got the opposite. 18 years old, new position, run the show, win right now with AD and Kyrie, two guys who were hurt half the time, while also saving the franchise's long-term future. That doesn't build confidence, that builds bad habits. He's learning to force passes because nobody hits shots. He's learning to dribble into traffic because spacing dies in the half court. He's learning that every mistake becomes a meme. And front office pressure makes it worse. The Mavs barely control any of their own picks this decade. Outside of this season, they're basically locked out until 2031. So on paper, there's one clean way to reset. Wait for AD to get healthy, pump his value up, trade him for picks and young pieces, use this year, the 1 year you own your pick, to tank into a loaded draft and grab help for Cooper. If a new GM walked in tomorrow, that would be the obvious blueprint. But they're not firing Nico. The new owners picked him. Their reputation is welded to that Luka trade. If they admit it failed, they admit they failed. So instead of cutting ties, they're chained to the same iceberg. They'd rather go down with the ship than admit they eyed the wrong captain. So fans start whispering a different theory. Maybe this is all on purpose. Don't sign a real replacement when Kyrie gets hurt. Leave Cooper, point guard, let the offense sink, grab a top pick, the only one you control for years, and pretend it was just bad luck. That's the conspiracy version. No one in Dallas could ever say it out loud. But when you watch possession after possession and in contested step-backs and late clock panic, your brain starts connecting dots it shouldn't. However we got here, the truth is simple. Cooper Flagg might be the most unlucky #1 pick ever. Think about his checklist. Has to be good enough right now to justify a win-now window with AD and Kyrie, two guys who are hurt half the time, while also rescuing the franchise's long-term future once those guys age out or get hurt again. He has to learn a new position on the fly in front of national TV. He has to do it while his old franchise star is putting on a revenge tour for the Lakers. Even if he really is a generational talent, that's a ridiculous load. And we've seen how badly situations can warp prospects. Some guys survive it, some never quite shake the habits they learned on those broken teams. The craziest part, none of this is about him being not ready. From everything we see, Cooper still competes, still defends, still flashes the stuff that made scouts drool. The problem is the environment. You drop a Ferrari engine into a shopping cart and then blame the engine when the wheels fall off. So yes, we should be worried about Cooper Flagg right now. Not because he's a bust, because the Mavericks are running a live social experiment on how much chaos one teenager can carry. And if you think this is messy, wait till you see the opposite problem. In Memphis, the franchise actually looks solid. Smart front office, clear identity, but the star is the storm. There's a full-on war right now between Ja Morant and his new coach. The coach tried to be brutally honest with Ja. It blew up. Now we get to see who the Grizzlies really ride with. Stick around, tap that like again if you haven't already, and buckle in. Because if Cooper Flagg is what happens when the grown-ups fail the kid, Ja might be what happens when the kid tests the whole franchise. Peace.